Nina, a 26-year-old black woman, stood at the bus stop, waiting for her ride to the business district. In her hand, she held a briefcase filled with documents and a laptop, everything prepared meticulously for the big day. Today was her moment to shine, an opportunity to showcase her skills at one of the city's most prestigious marketing firms. She took a deep breath as the morning sun warmed her face, boosting her confidence and reminding her of her achievements: a degree with honors, successful campaigns, creative ideas, and even features in industry magazines. She had put in the work, and this opportunity was hers to seize. When the bus arrived, Nina adjusted her sleek gray suit and smoothed the waves of her neatly styled hair. Each part of her appearance reflected her professional style, a visual promise of her dedication. She stepped onto the bus, her heart steady yet focused. In the quiet hum of the ride, she closed her eyes, mentally rehearsing her answers, visualizing the interview in her mind. There was no room for hesitation. She had come too far to let nerves creep in. As she entered the business district, Nina's determination grew stronger. She stepped off the bus and made her way toward the towering glass building. Its grand, imposing structure could be overwhelming for some, but not for her. Every step across the marble floor and through the spacious lobby reminded her that she was prepared, she belonged here. At the front desk, she met the sharp gaze of a suited receptionist, who quickly assessed her with a skeptical expression. He scanned her from head to toe, as if questioning why she was even there. "Are you sure you have an interview today?" he asked, his voice formal but laced with doubt. Nina kept her composure and smiled politely, though a flicker of frustration burned inside. She had encountered this type of quiet judgment before, doubt masked as professionalism. But she brushed it off, reminding herself that today was about her talent, not anyone else's assumptions. She walked past the reception area, feeling the weight of curious stares from employees behind glass walls. Some observed her openly, while others quickly looked away when she noticed their gaze. But she held her head high, her every step a reminder to herself that she wasn't here to fit anyone's expectations. She was here to show what she could bring to the table. In the waiting room, she took a seat among other candidates, most of whom were young white men dressed in designer suits. They exchanged stories of their past successes, their expensive watches glinting under the overhead lights. The tension in the room was thick, broken only by the quiet rustling of resumes and whispered phone calls. Though she listened silently, Nina couldn't help but feel a hint of isolation. But she pushed it aside. She had her own achievements, her own story, and soon she would share them. As the minutes passed, Nina's name remained uncalled, even as other candidates went in and out of interviews. An hour slipped by, yet she remained waiting. Frustration grew within her, but she took a deep breath, focusing on her goals. She stroked the edges of her briefcase, using the action to stay calm and grounded. Finally, the door opened, and Mr. Langston, a tall, gray-haired man with a stern expression, entered the room. His eyes swept over the candidates until they landed on Nina with a flicker of surprise. "Nina?" he asked, sounding uncertain. She stood, brushing off the weight of the other's stares, and followed him into the interview room. Sitting across from Langston, she handed him her portfolio, eager to show her work. But he barely glanced at it. "Tell me about yourself," he asked, his voice distant, as if this interview were a mere formality. Nina spoke confidently, highlighting her campaigns, her creative ideas, her experience. But it was clear that Langston wasn't listening. His questions were routine, and he checked his watch more than once, as if counting down the minutes. "We need professionals with top-level experience," he finally said, almost dismissively. A wave of frustration rose within Nina, but she held her voice steady. "Thank you for your time," she replied calmly, collecting her things. She walked out of the office with her head held high, determined not to let his dismissal shake her. Outside, she took a deep breath, letting her frustration fuel her determination. This wasn't the end. She knew her worth, and she wasn't about to give up. Just a few days after the disappointing interview, Nina's phone rang. The caller was from a major marketing agency. They had seen her work online and were impressed. Without hesitation, they offered her a high-profile opportunity, the chance to lead a major advertising campaign for a top brand. It was the break she had been waiting for, and she accepted immediately. The next few weeks were a whirlwind of meetings, photo shoots, and brainstorming sessions. Nina poured her heart into every detail of the campaign, drawing on all her experience and creativity. As her ideas took shape, she watched the campaign come to life. Soon, the city was filled with her work, her face gracing billboards, her confidence and vision on display for all to see. The launch event was held in an elegant venue, buzzing with anticipation. Executives, journalists, influencers, and industry insiders gathered to celebrate the campaign's success. As Nina moved through the crowd, exchanging greetings and answering questions, she noticed a familiar face in the distance: Mr. Langston. His expression was one of shock, his face pale as he realized that the woman he'd dismissed so easily had now become the star of the campaign everyone was praising. With a slight smile, Nina made her way over to him. "Hello, Mr. Langston," she greeted him softly, her tone polite but unmistakably confident. "What do you think of the campaign?" Langston stammered, clearly uncomfortable, his earlier judgment weighing on him. For Nina, the moment was one of quiet triumph. She had proven herself, not through words but through her success. Later that evening, Nina took the stage, the center of attention as applause filled the room. She wore a crisp white suit, a symbol of her professionalism and pride. Cameras flashed, capturing her against the backdrop of the campaign's success. Taking the microphone, she addressed the audience. "It's an honor to be part of this campaign," she began, her voice steady and clear. "This success isn't just about me, it's about those who believed in my vision and looked beyond appearances." Her gaze briefly met Langston's, conveying a silent message. "I hope this moment reminds us all to value talent and creativity over superficial judgments." The room fell silent, then erupted in applause. People rose to their feet, showing their support for Nina's message and her courage. As the applause rang out, Nina stood tall, knowing she had achieved more than just a successful campaign. She had shattered biases and reminded everyone that talent would always shine through, regardless of who tried to hold it back. Langston quietly slipped out of the room, head bowed. But Nina stayed in the spotlight, savoring the recognition she had earned. Even the darkest moments, she realized, could become a source of light if you believed in yourself and refused to give up.